Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of VetsPlusSports.com. This is your host, Terrell Cool Bean Davis, along with my co-host, Mr. James Miller.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing this Saturday evening? Hopefully, you're watching some football, and if it's cold where you're at, staying warm. Um, Before we get in this episode, I'll let Cool Beans do a shout out to our listeners.
Yes, we like to thank those that come to watch our show on a regular basis, come to watch us do the live. Thank you for watching. And for those that'll catch the replay, thank you for giving us your undivided attention to catch that replay. We also like to thank our audio listeners that we still do for on Wednesdays. We have cities like San Jose, California, Ashburn, Virginia, um, Brussels, Belgium, Grenzeck Weiland, Germany, Falkenstein, Germany, DC, and Los Angeles, California, and Boardman, Oregon. Thank y'all for listening.
Yes, thanks, Hank. Thank you for tuning in, listening to us, and everything else. I guess we'll go ahead and get started with some NBA. We'll hold off a little bit for NHL. We'll probably get in it here in just a few minutes. Making sure Wanzel is not able to get in this evening or something. But we'll go over some scores last night in the NBA. Your Knicks barely beat the Hornets 99-98.
I know.
The Cavaliers are on a slide. They got beat by the Hawks last night, 117-101.
I didn't see that one coming.
I think the true callers are showing up now.
Yep.
They was on a high there for a while running, but and then the Grizzlies beat the Pelicans 120-109. The Magic over the Nets 123-100. And then the Timberwolves beat the Clippers 93-92. The Pistons all over the Pacers 130-106. The Heat beat the Raptors 121-111. The Celtics, man, this was a game here. The Celtics and the Bulls. Celtics won 138-129. The Thunder beat the Lakers 101-93. And the Trailblazers beat the Kings 115-106. That's your scores from last night and the games that's going on now in the finals. That's some games that's already been final. But right now going on, excuse me here, in the fourth quarter right now, it's not looking good for Detroit Pistons. There's 6 minutes left. They're getting beat by the 76ers 99-80. The 3-14 Sixers are beating the Pistons right now in Detroit with 6 minutes left. Then right now you've got in the second quarter with like just under a minute left, the Wizards and the Bucks. The Bucks are up 59-56 in Milwaukee. Some later games tonight. The Warriors and the Suns. You got the Mavericks and Utah playing at 9:30, and then the Warriors and Suns is at 9. The only final game we got today is the Hawks and the Hornets. The Hawks beat the Hornets 107-104. And, man, it looks like them Hornets are giving teams a fit.
Yeah.
The Hornets are 6-14, but there's some games that, I mean,
they've been in some
lost.
tight games.
They've been in some tight games. So, but they're giving people fit when you're barely losing games.
Right. Hey, you notice something weird about this NBA season?
What's that?
We've had a lot of scoring going on. What's up with these games? A lot of 130s, 140s.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's never been that high.
There's a lot going on right now with the scoring and stuff. I've noticed that also. But that's the rundown of the NBA right now. If you got any other news.
No, I ain't got no other news. I was thinking it's either A, they're getting better on their field goal percentages, or defense has just taken the back seat in this league.
I think a lot of it's defense. I heard now a lot of your announcers talking about teams and with defense and stuff. And they talked about the Lakers. The Lakers' offense is all right, but they don't have no defense. A lot along with some of these other teams. They're lacking on the defensive side. They're putting up points. They're putting up 120 points, 130 points, and losing games.
Exactly.
Because of defense. But this week you had some college basketball going on, some other tournaments and stuff like that.
Oh yes, I wanted to get in that too.
And I think I mentioned it. It was during our audio that West Virginia knocked off number 3 Gonzaga.
Yep, we mentioned that Wednesday on our audio.
And then next day they got beat by Louisville. They should have beat Louisville. They killed themselves. And then they turn around and beat Arizona.
Yep, and Arizona was ranked too.
Yep. And now West Virginia comes in at the top 25. They're ranked at 25 now.
All right.
They're moving right up right now. But there's some scores go on right now in college. I don't know if I'm going to run down all of these. I'll probably skip some of them because there's a lot of, when it comes to college, there's a lot of teams.
Yeah, there is.
Right now you got San Diego State and Houston's playing. They're in the second. Oh man, second half, and there's 13 seconds left. Number 6 Houston is knotted up with San Diego State at 65 apiece. So there's an upset alert for number 6 Houston. And then you got Texas A&M. This is a final. Beat Rutgers 81-77. Georgia beat Jacksonville 102-56. UConn beat Maryland. I guess it'd be Maryland Eastern 99-45. And then Kansas beat Furman 86-51. And then there's one game that's getting ready to kick off here shortly is Alabama and Oregon. Alabama's number 9. Oregon ain't ranked. Oregon has not lost a game yet. But that should be a pretty good game as that starts out. But that's some college basketball as of right now. Let's see. We'll run some other scores. There's been some good games all this week with college basketball. I'll run down some scores from yesterday. Gonzaga beat Davidson 90-65. They only got one loss, Gonzaga, and that's from West Virginia. Kentucky beat Georgia State 105-76. Duke over Seattle U 70-48. You have Purdue over Ole Miss. Purdue was 13 in the country. Ole Miss 23. Purdue 80. Ole Miss 78. Indiana beat Providence 89-73. Florida beat Wichita State 88-51. And then, like we already mentioned, West Virginia beat number 24 Arizona 83-76. Butler upsetted Mississippi State. Mississippi State was 25th in the country. Butler beat them 87-77. And that was your rundown from some scores of yesterday in college basketball. We'll just keep up with a little bit every now and then, and every other week maybe hit the standings because the basketball season's kind of long too. They play a lot of games.
Right, yeah, they do.
And as of right now, I don't think there's not a whole lot of news in
WNBA?
No, in the well, I was just looking at any news there in the college basketball on the board here. There's not a whole lot going on right now. But you got anything on the women's NBA?
I only had one thing, and I got to go ahead and look this up because I was going to have a big rundown on Wednesday when we do the audio show because the Unrivaled League, the 3-on-3 basketball is supposed to kick off in January. It's supposed to be 8 weeks long. Just found out a couple of days ago, got a buzz that Kelsey Plum, she dropped out. She will not be participating in the Unrivaled League. So, I mean, like, they got people dropping out of the Unrivaled League. I don't know where they're going to get this because TNT is supposed to be airing the games and stuff, and they just don't have no showstoppers. You don't have Caitlin Clark declined, and now Kelsey Plum dropped. So, it's just like, I don't know who they're going to have.
Now, who started this league?
This was start between what's her name? Nalissa Collier from the Minnesota Lynx and Brianna Stewart from the New York Liberty. They're the ones who came up with it, and it's sponsored by, I forgot, it's also an ex-NBA player that's backing them, and they're the ones who took it to TNT and got this set up. It's 6 teams. They're 3-on-3 basketball, so it should be like a total of 36 players. This is to keep, I understand the purpose of it. They want to keep women's basketball here in the United States because what they do is like when they're on their off season, they'll go over to Europe to play.
or
especially
Russia.
like with Brittany Griner getting
Yeah,
trapped up there
Russia.
in Russia.
Yeah, go to
They don't
Russia.
want to be doing that no more, putting them inside. So
Well,
they did that to keep people here.
the thing is, I mean, I mean, that just goes to show you, you and I being in the military, you and I knowing a little bit about other countries, you
Hmm.
do not want to go to a communist country to play ball.
I know the
There's,
money ain't that good.
no, I am not going to Russia to play ball. I am not going to North Korea to play ball. I mean, these, uh, these other countries, they go by their own rules and laws.
Yep.
Our
And they
laws
make them up
don't.
as they go.
And our laws, they don't mean a hill of beans to them. So when you go to these other countries and you get in trouble, and then you're like, oh, you can't do this. Yeah, they can. You're in their country. You're not in the United States no more. So, and that's the problem with, growing up in this country. We're blessed to grow up in this country. You go to these other countries, you don't get away with the stuff you do here.
Yep.
So you got to abide by their laws. And that was like, in the NBA. Oh, what's his name? His brother got in trouble. Ball over there in China.
Oh, he did? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
one of
Alonzo
the
Ball?
brother, not Alonzo. I think the brother. There was a brother. It wasn't
Yeah,
Alonzo.
there's 3 of them in total, but I can't
No,
remember.
one of them, 3 of them, when they was in college, got in trouble over in China for stealing like sunglasses or something. Okay, this is when Trump was in office because they wrote Trump to get him out because he was in jail. They wasn't going to release him, so Trump got him back out of China. See, you go to these other countries, you abide by their laws. So, I mean, that's and that's just how it is. I mean, and he's going to these other countries, you better watch what you're doing. And I mean, I don't. There's no way I'd go to like Russia when Brittany did. I know she's trying to make money and stuff like that. She's
Hmm.
going to trying to make the money, but there's no way I'd be going to Russia or some of them other countries to. The thing is, if they change their mind, they don't like you, they'll lock you up.
Yep.
I mean, that's how it is. I mean, that's how these other countries work. Not all these other countries run like the United States does, but um, Europe, they have a lot of stuff over in Europe for them to make money, as basketball and football. A lot of NFL players go over to Europe and play football. I know that for a fact.
Hmm.
Um, and then in China, they have their own football league.
Yeah.
Because that West Virginia quarterback, I'm trying to think of his name right now. I can't think of his name. Well, he didn't mount to much in college. He didn't even get, looked at all for the NFL. Goes over there in China, plays on one of their pro teams, and he wins like 5 championships in a row at quarterback.
Hmm.
And they looked at him like, he was a big athlete. Skylar Howard. Skylar Howard was his name. He went over there. He was a quarterback of West Virginia. He didn't fare too well. Some moments he done good and everything else. Kind of reminds me of Garrett Green.
Okay.
He had the heart like Garrett Green, and some passes he was dead on like Garrett Green, and then other times when he missed bad. But he went over in China and won 3 or 5 championships in a row over there with their pro teams.
Dang.
So there's money to be made, and I can't remember who it is. Is it an NBA player? I can't think of who it is now because I watched it on a ESPN. They had a special on it. He didn't fare too well in the NBA here. Then goes over in China, the same thing. I mean, they got a statue of him over there.
Right.
So there's money to be made in these other countries, but you just got to watch. You got to watch what you do. And you go over to China, it's all about integrity. I mean,
Right.
your word, they look at your word as gold. I mean, so you say what you've done, I tell you this, that they're taking it. That's how that economy works. I mean, that's how them people work. So once you lie or you do something, you still lie over there, they're done with you.
Yep. It's over.
It's over. It's like that. That's that trust. They give you that trust right off the bat. Like your word, like how it was years ago here in this country. You could take a man's word for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't, and it's still like that over there in China and stuff. So they take your word, but once you break that trust, that's it. So there's other sports you could be played in these countries and stuff. You got baseball, basketball, and then I didn't know Like I was telling you, I didn't know, but the football was in China. I knew they had it in Europe,
Yeah, I knew it had here. I didn't know in China.
but China's got their own league too. But you got anything else? I'll move on to the hockey right here.
Nope, I got nothing. We can ready to go ahead and let's go ahead and get this hockey.
All right, right now, playing right now, you got the Maple Leafs are playing the Lightning and the Leafs. It's in the third period with 14 minutes left. The Leafs are all over the Lightning 4-0 right now. And you got the Capitals and the Devils knotted up at 4 apiece in the third period with 14:40 left. You got the Penguins and Pittsburgh playing the Flames. The Penguins are beating the Flames 4-0 in the third period with 13 left. The Flyers are playing the Blues. The Flyers are up 1-0 in the third with 10 minutes left. You got the Kings and the Senators. In the Kings are winning 3-2. The Islanders are playing the Sabres, and Islanders after the second period are up 2-0. The Predators are beating the Wild 2-1. That one's still early in the second period with 11 minutes left, so there's still a lot of hockey to play there. And then later on, you've got the Oilers playing the Avalanche in Colorado at 10 p.m. The Utah Hockey Club over the Golden Knights at 10 p.m. there in Las Vegas. The Sharks playing the Kraken at 10 p.m. And here's some finals from the day. There's 2 games already final. You got the Canadians playing the Rangers, and the Rangers beat them 4-3. And the Panthers beat the Hurricanes 6-0. So that's a rundown right now of some hockey scores.
I wish I was good with CGI. I'd have me a predator. You said a predator is going against a wild. Have me a predator chasing down a wild boar or something. There's so many animals. I got a predator beating hunting a panther. A predator beating a ranger. A predator going after an oiler.
That's it.
A predator killing a kraken. Oh, I got a whole bunch of them.
What's a Kraken? Well, what are you going to have for the Kraken?
I don't know. I guess I got to do Clash of the Titans, the Kraken.
So that's a rundown of some hockey here. We'll go ahead and get into some football because the college and the NFL will take us to the hour mark with everything that's going on. Man, it was upset alert again this weekend in college football. To me, there's one that surprised me. The others didn't. But we'll get on some scores last night. There was a big game going on last night, and it was Georgia and Georgia Tech. They went into 8 overtimes, and I ain't going to lie. I was watching it, and I turned it over after the 6th when Georgia Tech failed to get the 2-point conversion. I said, well, this is over. I said, Georgia, they ain't going to – because after the second overtime, you got to go – there's no going for touchdowns no more. It's 2-point conversions. So how's their overtime works now?
Right, okay.
So because years ago, they went into 9 overtimes. You score a touchdown. They used to have it, you score a touchdown, and after I think the third or fourth overtime, you had to go for 2 after the touchdown. Well, now they done changed it. After the second overtime, you don't go for touchdowns no more. You just line up for 2-point conversions. So they went into 8 overtimes, and let me get the score here. I want to make sure I don't want to tell you wrong. I gotta get on the wrong date. I'm going. Well, no, that should show up. I don't know why it's not showing up. I think it was 44. Georgia won 44-42 over Georgia Tech.
Wow.
And I was hoping. Yeah, there it is. 44-42. I was hoping Georgia Tech would have beat Georgia.
That was possible because remember, Georgia Tech started off the year. They wasn't ranked, but they was knocking off some ranked teams.
Yeah. And in regulation, I was watching this game and then I turned it off. Well, I watched some of the overtime. In regulation, get this. All right. There's like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Georgia Tech's got the ball. It's 3rd and 1. All they got to do is get a first down. And Actually, it was down to 2 minutes. They done ran off a minute and a half. So it's 3rd and 1 with 2 minutes left in the ball game. All they got to do is get a first down, and it's pretty much over then. Then they can start running the clock out. So they done a quarterback sneak out of a shotgun. A quarterback sneak. Quarterback goes up the middle. The safety comes in and drills him. He fumbles the ball. Georgia gets the ball back at Georgia Tech's like 20. I said, "Oh, there's ball game now," and they're down 7. Georgia was down. It was 27-20 at that time, and Georgia was down 17 points in that game, and Georgia came back. It was 17-0. So then that's like, well, there that is. And then they scored. Georgia scored quick. There was like a minute left. Georgia Tech tried to get down there in field goal range, couldn't do it. So he got sacked. They was getting close, but didn't get there. Then they went in the overtime, and then it was just back and forth. But Georgia will be playing in the SEC championship. The winner of this Texas A&M game tonight. It's going on right now. And I was watching that game before I came down here, and I'm, I've been to only a couple college games, but let's see. I want to see your opinion on this. I would go to say the loudest stadium in college football would have to be Texas A&M with the 12th man. Would you disagree with that?
I will not disagree with that.
Well, right now Texas is up on Texas A&M 17-0. It's almost at halftime.
A&M 17-0.
17-0. It was 7-0 when I came down here to get ready. And Texas has got the ball with 26 seconds left at their 43, and they're driving. So right now it's like 3rd and 9 and 21 seconds left. So they're probably trying to get them field goal to get a field goal. The last time these two teams played was 2011. And Justin Tucker kicked a game-winning field goal with Texas to beat Texas A&M on this field in 2011. That's the last time they've two played, because if you remember, Texas A&M left the Big 12 and went to the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now Texas is in the SEC, so that kind of renews that rival. And here's my thing. How come Texas and A&M didn't keep that rival even though they was out of the conference? I mean,
I know, right? I would have still kept it.
I mean, to me, I think they should have. I mean, you need to keep these rivals. And, like West Virginia and Pitt, they just started renewing theirs a few years ago. We had a rival with Virginia Tech where we played them for they renewed it back, and they played for like 4 years. Now they dropped it. I mean, you got to keep these rivals going, I think.
People don't understand rivalry games. Rivalry games bring in the money.
And it don't matter what the record is.
Exactly. Even if both teams or one of the teams can't be, if they're not ranked, that doesn't matter. It's a rivalry game. These fans have hated each other for so long. It's going to bring in the money. It's going to bring in the ratings.
You can ask the Buckeyes about that today.
Yeah.
The Buckeyes choked, and I don't see how. And that's what I was going to say. I mentioned before we got on here, there was that's the upset that surprised me right there was the Michigan.
That one was the one that surprised me too, because like I said, I found out some stuff after the game that if I knew in pregame, I'd have went with Michigan. Like the fact that Michigan beat them 3 times prior to this game, and now this is 4 times in a row. The last time they beat them 4 times in a row was from the years 1988 to 1991. 4 times straight.
The reason I went with Michigan was because Jim Harbaugh was not there, and McCarthy was gone. So you had that rebuilding year with Michigan, and Michigan's been getting blown out by some teams. And to go into the Horseshoe and beat the Buckeyes, to me, that kind of shocked me with that. But that just goes to show you these rivalry games, it don't matter what the records are. It don't matter who's ranked and not ranked.
Right.
The outcome can be different.
Well, the problem was Ohio State couldn't run the ball. Michigan clamped down on that run. They could not run the ball, which caused Will Howard, their quarterback, to have to throw. This is the first game he had all season that he threw 2 picks. He threw 2 picks, 1 touchdown. That's it. And it was like they couldn't run, so he had to throw. And they found out he couldn't throw. And that's what really happened. They had a fight at the end of the game, too.
I see that. And there's going to be, I'd say, here's the thing. There'll be players suspended for Ohio State coming. So when they got that playoff game that's coming up, they're going to be missing some players. The police had to break and use some pepper spray to get everything situated.
Right.
So it ain't going to hurt Michigan any because Michigan's done. Now I'm telling you wrong. Michigan, they're bowl eligible. They're 7-5, so they got a bowl game, which it's going to be a meaningless bowl game. So they'll be losing players as well for that bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
And Ohio State's going to be losing some players, whoever's involved. So, I mean, kids, we just had that same instance happen last week here in West Virginia in the AAA playoffs. There was a team, Nitro. They had 5. I was playing Shady Springs. 2 kids from Shady Springs got ejected, and 5 from Nitro. Nitro was pounding Shady. There was 2 different incidents. So, well, guess what? Nitro didn't have 5 of their players. Today, Nitro played, and they got their butts handed to them. See,
wow.
You got to – and the thing is, and once the NCAA watches that video and they see who will be suspended the next game, Ohio State may be done. They'll probably be first exit out of the playoffs because they can't hold emotions. So
Ohio State is bounced out of that 2 spot. Georgia had to go win by overtime, so they may stay at that 3 spot. Penn ain't played yet. Penn State is at 4. Well, they might surpass they might bump them and jump up to 2.
Well, Ohio State's not in the Big Ten championship now. It's Penn State and Clemson is playing for the ACC championship. So here's what happens: whoever wins that ACC championship gets one of the 4 byes. So, like the SEC championship, whoever wins that between Georgia and it's going to be looking like Texas. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I was going to say it before this game started. Whoever won that game between Texas and A&M is going to beat Georgia. Georgia ain't beating one of those 2 teams. So, Georgia ain't winning the SEC championship. It's going to be Texas. So a spot will go from Texas. Texas will probably get the bye, and whoever wins the Big Ten championship, I don't think Penn State will. I think they'll be playing Indiana. I'm gonna be rooting for Indiana.
All right, I will be too.
I think that's who they should be playing. Let me go down some scores, and then I'll hit the standings. Maryland played Penn State. Penn State beat Maryland 44-7. We had that. You had Notre Dame beating USC 49-35. We had that as well. And here's an upset. It didn't surprise me. And me and you was going to go the opposite way. We didn't. We picked Miami. Miami was going to Syracuse. And Syracuse is an old Big East foe that us West Virginia fans are familiar with. Syracuse is always playing spoiler alert. Syracuse finishes the season 9-3 in the ACC, knocking off them, Miami. So I don't know how it's going to work there. Tennessee beat Vanderbilt 36-23. SMU over California 38-6. Here's another upset. I got this one right. You missed it. Clemson and South Carolina. South Carolina beat Clemson 17-14.
I know. I missed that.
I just had a feeling. I don't know. I had a feeling. I was getting ready to go Clemson. I said, I don't know. I think South Carolina may do an upset alert. And we missed this. I was hoping upset alert with Auburn and Alabama. Bama won 28-14. I was hoping Bama would get another loss to keep them out of the playoffs. Arizona State all over Arizona 49-7. Mizzou over Arkansas 28-21. Illinois beat Northwestern 38-28. Then you had Memphis beating Tulane. I got that upset.
Oh yeah, because I was going to Tulane. Tulane was ranked, and
Memphis
Memphis
wasn't.
what?
Tulane won. I mean, Memphis won 34-24, and it's like I mentioned. How's a team that's 10-2 not ranked with Memphis?
I don't get why they're not ranked either. 10-2.
They must have had a very weak schedule.
Yeah.
And then some of your finals from today: Boise State beat Oregon State 34-18. Ole Miss beat Mississippi State 26-14, and Colorado pounded Oklahoma State 52-0. And we'll run down our other picks real fast. West Virginia got their butts handed to them like I thought they would have. It was 52-15.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't watch that. I was in bed, and then I wasn't going to get up to watch them get slaughtered, and they got
And they want to
slaughtered.
still keep Neil Brown.
Yeah,
52-15.
y'all keep Neil Brown. Keep him. Right now, halftime. Right now, this is Iowa State and Kansas State. Iowa State's up 24-14.
I think I went Iowa.
Let's see here. I think we both did. We both went Iowa as soon as I find out where it's at here. I'll bet it's back here maybe. Choo. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Like I said, man, we do these picks and then
I know, and a couple days later, I forget everything we just talked about.
All right, you went Iowa State, and I went Kansas State. And
okay, cool, man.
Right now, Kansas State is down 10 points at halftime, 24-14. Later on, you got Houston and BYU. I hope BYU wins.
Yeah, I went stuck with my Texas team.
All right.
Houston.
Here we go. We had TCU and Cincinnati. TCU beat Cincinnati 20-13, and I think you went with Cincy. Nope, you went with TCU.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't go against Texas teams.
Well,
I like Cincinnati, but
you was hung. You've been hung on that Cincinnati team for a while, but no, we both got TCU on that. Then here you got Baylor and Kansas played. Baylor won 45-17. Baylor finishes the season at 8-4. Kansas finishes the season 5-7, and Kansas will miss the bowl game. And let me see here. As soon as I find where it's at, you went Baylor. You had that. I went Kansas. I missed that. And here's the game right here: Utah and UCF. We both missed that. The Utes finally won another game.
What?
Utah won 28-14. We both had UCF on that. UCF.
I know. We should have went Utah, but it's just one thing. It's just that they make you hate them, so you can't go for them.
Nah. So, and we'll go with our couple other picks that we had. Virginia Tech beat Virginia 20-3. Let's see here. We both had Virginia Tech on that. And then Pitt, where are they at? I know they lost. I seen that. Yeah, Pitt got beat by Boston College. I knew better.
I went Boston College.
I knew better. Actually, no, I'm telling you wrong. I went Boston College too. I thought I went Pitt. We both went Boston College, so we got that one. I thought I missed that. So, and then let's see here. We got the Texas Tech pounding the West Virginia. And let's go check the Marshall out. And then the other games just got to finish out. They're still going on right now. Let's see here. Sunbelt. All right. Right now, Marshall and James Madison's playing. It's at halftime. James Madison 17, Marshall 0.
I think I went James Madison because I was like,
both of us went James Madison on that.
Okay.
So, and let's see here. Go back to the top 25. There's a game. I guess I was trying to see. Where there it is. Let's see now. UNLV. They must be
Oh
ranked.
yeah, we did have a game. I remember we had
Okay, yeah, all right,
UNLV.
right here it is. It's UNLV in Nevada. They're at halftime. UNLV's 24, Nevada 7. It's at halftime. Both of
and
us went with UNLV.
UNLV.
So that the rest of them are being played right now. I'll run down a couple scores again before we move on to the NFL. We got some news in the NFL. We get into some talking about. Right now, it's pretty much over. Indiana, it's in the third quarter. Indiana 38, Purdue 0. So we can pretty much chalk that game's up. That's over. We both got that. And the thing is, you and I both picked Texas A&M to win that game, and they're getting beat right now. Oregon's up on Washington 28-14. Texas up 17-0 on Texas A&M. Iowa State, Kansas State still at halftime 24-14. UNLV 24, Nevada 7 at half. And then the only other game that's got to kick off is Houston and BYU a little bit later. Yeah, that's the rundown. We get to the standings real fast, and we'll talk about some stuff here, especially with the SEC and then the. And I'm going to mention this. I mentioned it to you. The American Athletic Conference, the AAC, the Army Black Knights is leading that division at 8-0, undefeated. Way to go, Black Knights in the Army.
Yep, first.
And guess who's in third in that division?
Would that be Navy?
That would be Navy at 6-2.
All right.
And Tulane lost today. And where Tulane lost, that put Army, they're ahead. Tulane's 7-1 in the division, and Army's 8-0. In the ACC, we done mentioned there. And I don't see how this. All right, Clemson is in the ACC championship along with SMU. So Clemson and SMU will be playing in the ACC championship. And I think we'll do our picks in this coming week. I think SMU is going to beat Clemson.
I think so too.
So we'll get there with that. Let me get down here to the Big Ten. Here's the Big 12. Right now, the Big 12, this is a mess. The Big 12, you got Arizona State and Colorado are both tied at 7-2. So those two will be playing. I don't get that. Oh, that game ain't over yet. That's right, BYU and Cyclones. That's why. If that's the two that ends up be playing, which I think it will be, because that's the order. Even if BYU wins, they finish 7-2. If Iowa State wins, they finish 7-2. Colorado and Arizona will be playing for the Big 12 championship, which Colorado is probably going to beat Arizona, I think.
Oh yeah, I would say that.
And then the Big 10. This is where we're going to get at in the Big 10. And I told you wrong. Penn State's not playing Indiana Hoosiers. Guess who Penn State's going to be playing? And this ain't going to be a no ball game either. The Oregon Ducks.
Oh, the Oregon Ducks will kill them.
This will be a butt whipping for the ages. The Ducks.
Oh, that's going to be a massacre.
It's going to be a butt whipping for the ages. And I can't wait to watch it. I got to make sure I watch that next weekend. That's going to be next Saturday. I'm going to watch the Oregon Ducks pound the Penn State Nittany Lions. And they're going to get pounded. And them Ducks, unless they end up the Ducks end up losing. I mean, they're winning right now.
Right, because their game is still going on. And they only up 2 scores. What is it, 28-14?
It was 28-0, but then the other team put 2 touchdowns on the board to make it 28-14.
Yeah, they're slacking. Starting to get a little slacking up there.
And then let's get here. I'm trying to get down here to the SEC. Here it is, right here. Okay, right now, this is what you got. The Bulldogs are in there. Texas Longhorns are there right now. But if Texas A&M would end up losing, Texas. Well, if Texas A&M would beat Texas, that would leapfrog Texas A&M into the SEC championship against Georgia Bulldogs. So, Georgia and Tennessee are tied at 6-2, but Georgia beat the Vols earlier, if you remember.
Right.
So that puts them ahead of them. And then right now, get this. Marshall's leading their division in the East at 6-1. But James Madison is third. And if James Madison beats them, that puts a tie with them and Georgia Southern, which they may hold the tiebreaker over Georgia Southern. Because I think Marshall beat Georgia Southern. So Marshall still would be playing in the Sun Belt Conference Championship against the Louisiana Raging Cajun. So that's the rundown there. Now we'll get into some NFL. We had some games that were played on Thanksgiving Day. I love those games on Thanksgiving Day. They turned out to be, I don't know what happened to the Lions. The Lions, I guess they forgot they had a game to play, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
How in the world can you let the Chicago Bears come into Detroit and you were up, they were up 20 points on them or something?
They sure
like
was.
that, and you let the Bears and Caleb Williams get back in the ball game. But here's something I want to mention. Their coach got fired, and he should have got fired.
Yep. He's one of the coaches that we predicted at the beginning when we started this podcast. We predicted he was getting fired, and he did.
You had 23 seconds left. You're in field goal range to tie the ball game. 23 seconds left, a timeout left, and you let 23 seconds run off the clock to lose the ball game pretty much.
Exactly.
And it's like Caleb Williams didn't know what he was in a panic. He was waiting for a play. He was looking and everything else. And you should have at least called a timeout.
Yeah.
Saved you 23 seconds. You could have done 2 quick down and outs or something, or however, take a shot at the end zone, or however you wanted to do it. But a coach that does that, you deserve to be fired.
Exactly.
It's
what's
not
he
like
saving the timeout for? At the end of the year, all the timeouts you save, do you get a special prize or something?
Unless he forgot he had it. But I don't know. But the Lions won. They shocked me because they've been the dominant team. That should have blew them out. They shouldn't even been in the ball game. But
well, see, that's also some of Dan Campbell's problem. They had one drive. They went down there, and it was like when they were still up by like 20-some points, they got down there around the 10-yard line, and it was like 4th and 2. Instead of kicking the field goal, they went for it and didn't get it. And that caused, to come back. They went and drove down. I think Chicago ended up getting a field goal then. But my thing is, you don't pass up points. When you get a chance to put points on the board, you put points on the board. That's the way they used to do it back in the old days when we first was coming up and we was watching football. They never passed on an opportunity to put points on the board. It's 4th and 2. You're within field goal range. You kick the field goal. This is like, he's done this many times. He did that in the playoffs with San Francisco. Instead of kicking the field goal, and that would cost him the game. He got put out.
Cost him the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Going to the Super Bowl.
Doing stupid stuff.
You had your other game. Your boys won 27-20.
I knew that.
There's
no way the Giants was going to beat them.
They are on a winning streak. They've won 2 in a row.
2 games.
Your boys could, if they continue that winning streak, make the playoffs if they win out.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. But we talked about it. I think we talked about it on the audio or no, we talked about this at work. That's when we was talking about it. Out of the 5 games they got left, 3 I see that's very good wins. 2
Carolina,
possibles.
yeah. Carolina's one of them. They play Carolina. They'll beat them.
Yep.
Your other game, the last game of Thanksgiving night, was the Packers beating the Dolphins 30-17. And here's my thing. They had a statistic up, okay? Tua, all right, this Miami team, I spoke about this when we first started this podcast back in the spring. This Miami team is built for speed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last year, when Miami went into Kansas City and it was like below 0, and I told my family members that were Dolphin fans, and they told me I was a delusional Kansas City Chief fan, but us Kansas City Chief fans ain't delusional. We're straight up. I mean, I think we need to get rid of Travis Kelce now, but I'll just tell you that. But anyway. Tua and these Dolphins, since Tua's been there, whenever the temperature's below 40 degrees, they have never won. They have not won a game when the temperature goes below 40 degrees. They're playing in. So you get in this cold weather, and like I said back in the spring when we started this, when you have speed, your muscles tend to cramp up. It's hard to keep your muscles loose, so that slows you down. It slows you down. So anybody that has speed, that brings you back down on the same playing level pretty much. I don't care if you're on that sideline and you're putting heating pads on your muscles. As soon as you leave that to go on that field, that muscle's cooling off. So, but the Dolphins, they made a run for it. They tried to come back. Tua threw for 365 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was just too much. Packers was too much for them. The Dolphins' playoff hopes are slipping away. They needed that win. They'll have to win out. If they win out, I mean, there's 5 games left. If they win out, that puts them at 10-7. I'll look at their schedule here in a minute. And then you got a game Friday. I watched some of it, and then I got called into work, so I didn't get to see the rest, the second half. And the Chiefs beat the Raiders 19-17. And being a Chiefs fan, I'm going to say this. Their offense sucks. Their offense it just plain out sucks.
I just don't get it. I don't know what it is. Mahomes, especially when they drafted Worthy, it was like all that speed. He's the fastest guy to come out of the combine in so long, and it's like all that speed, and they're not doing anything with it. He had like 5 catches for 54 yards.
I think this offense may be worse than last year's.
Oh yeah, I would say that.
So I mean, I didn't think you can get any worse than last year.
And they got rid of all them people that was dropping balls, like Scantley and what is Kadarius's last name? Tony.
Which Travis Kelce ended up having a good game. But how in the world do you let Bowers have 10 receptions for 140 yards and a touchdown? They're tight end. I mean, that dude killed me in a lot of fantasy leagues. And I'm like, how in the world do you let that happen? They only have like 2 receivers that you have to worry about. The tight end and Jacoby Myers. That's it. And here you got a quarterback, O'Connell, who's in his second year. He got drafted last year. Threw for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns. In Arrowhead. This ain't like it's playing in Las Vegas.
You're right.
Playing in Arrowhead. And then, I seen how the end finished on a botched snap. I mean, I can see how it happened when I watched the replay.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't been to Arrowhead, that place is loud. So the center snapped. I guess he thought he heard him say the cadence to hike the ball, and he snapped the ball when the quarterback wasn't ready. And I can see that happening there. That place is so loud. when we was there last year, you had Detroit Lions fans had their fingers in their ears. And they said, this place is loud. I'm like, yeah, it is. So I guess the center thought he heard him say the cadence to hike the ball, whatever it was on.
Well,
And
it was on the script to hike it early.
he hiked it and it hit him in the shoulder. And then the Chiefs got it. But I'm going to tell you, the Chiefs ain't looking good. I mean, they're not. But that don't mean nothing. As long as they make the playoffs, they can get it together like they did last year. But I mean, right now, they're hoping to get that one seed, but the Buffalo Bills need to lose another game. Maybe the Niners can upset them this weekend, but to give them a
I
little
wouldn't
cushion.
count on the Niners doing that.
But that was some games there, and then like I said, the Chicago Bears fired their coach. They started out hot, 4-1?
Yeah, and now they're like 4-8.
Yeah, dropped like 7 in a row or 6 in a row or whatever it was. They
Yeah,
dropped. And that defense was doing good, but now they're not. So I just don't get it. And to me, I think I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I think this is Travis Kelce's last year, even though they just gave him an extension. I think last year. He's getting ready to marry Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs to go ahead. His focus ain't on football no more, and you can see it. You can see it on the field with his play. His focus is everywhere else. And I'm not saying it's on because of Taylor Swift. He's just doing too many other things.
Right.
He's involved in too much other stuff. He's done lost his focus on football. It's time to just go ahead and give it up and go do your thing. And if you want to be acting or whatever, go ahead and do that.
But I would like to see him play one more year and get that new jersey. It would be Travis Swift.
Oh man. Then and then we got these let me go back real fast. We still got a little no, we don't have a whole lot of time. I was going to look at the Dolphins schedule real fast to see if they could win out. This is what they got left out of their last 5 games. They play the Jets.
They can win that.
Next week. They play the Texans.
They can win that.
They play the 49ers.
They can win that.
They play the Browns.
They can win that. Oh, it's looking good for them.
And guess who the last game is with?
Last game.
The Jets. They could win out.
I swear to goodness, they could win out.
And so, all right, let's look at that. They could win out. All right, let me back this up. Let's go to the standings. Let's just to see where that would put them if they went out. Well, guess what? They're in second in the division at 5.
Oh yeah.
So if they win out, that puts them at 10-7. All right.
Now still keep them in second because it ain't coming. The Jets ain't coming back, and neither is the Patriots.
No, them two are battling for who the worst team is in that division. So let's see here. Yeah, if they went out and go 10-7, it's a possibility, depending on how some of these. I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough for them because here's the thing. In the AFC West, where the division where the Chiefs are, most likely you're going to have 3 teams coming out of that division, unless something happens. The Chargers and the Broncos just flat out just fall off. You got the Chargers are 7-4, and you got the Broncos at 7-5. So, there's a chance Miami's got to win out because you got the Commanders at 7-5. I mean, that's an NFC.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they got a shot. They do because Baltimore's 8-4, Pittsburgh's 8-3. They'd have to win out. If they win out, Miami's in the playoffs, and they can win out. But I'll go back to this. All right, let me go back to Miami real fast in their schedule again. I'm watching time here, make sure. Miami's schedule, and the Jets, they're in a dome, ain't they?
Yes.
The only problem that Miami has that would keep them from winning out,
Cleveland.
they play at Cleveland.
Yep.
And that's going to be below 40 degrees.
Uh-huh.
They will not win that game.
And Jameson he had a field day playing in that snow. So
and they play that on December 29th. So you know it's going to be snowing in Cleveland in December.
And cold, yep.
And cold. So that's the only game. I mean, technically they should beat the Browns, but because of the weather and it's outside and it's below 40 degrees, and Tua's never won when it's below 40 degrees, and he's probably not
going
going
to looking at 9-8.
You're looking at
9-8 and
9-8. Well, 9-8, and possibly they could still probably make it at 9-8. Looking at depending on how the rest of the standings fall, because there ain't too many other teams.
Harbaugh will get in there.
Harbaugh, there's 3 coming. There's definitely 3 coming out of that other division. Harbaugh, the Broncos, and the Chiefs. Well,
Yep.
You look at the other divisions. You got another one.
Which that means there'll be one. If all 3 of them come out of that one,
4,
each other one's can only send 1.
5, 6, 7, 8. No, you're going to have 8, right? You got 8.
No, you can only have 7 teams. Remember, 1 get the bye and 6 is going to play.
Okay.
So it's going to be 7 teams. So if the West send 3, they only leaves 1 in each division. Maybe possibly a second one.
All right, yeah. Okay, here's the thing. They got to win out to have a shot. There's 2 that's coming out of the ACM North. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because you're going to have the Steelers in Baltimore.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it's going
to
be
Texans will be the only one coming out their division, and Buffalo might be just the only one out of their division.
Yep, depending on how it falls. So that game hurt them. They needed to win that in Green Bay, but they could win.
Or they're going to need Denver to lose some.
Yeah, they
Denver lose some of theirs coming up. Then, they might not make the big dance, and they will.
Yeah, that's it. And Denver, it's all going to fall on Denver, and Denver real fast. Their last 5 games, and then we're about out of time.
Yep.
Denver, they're playing the Browns. They play the Colts.
They can win that.
They play the Chargers.
Chargers might get that.
That's at LA.
Yeah, the Chargers might get that.
And then they play the Chiefs. The last game of the season, they play the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs might get that. So it might be right there.
So yeah, so that's where you're at. But that's what we have. We're at the end of this episode. Like we always do. If anybody's out there is thinking about harming and hurting themselves, there's a quick number you can call. It's 988, and then you dial 1, and they'll get you to the people you need to talk to get you help, get you the resources you need. And that number is 1-800-273-8255. That's a Veterans Crisis Line. Call that if you're thinking about hurting yourself or harming yourself. Keep in contact with your battle buddies. Any changes in behavior and everything else, talk to them and see if they can't get the help, that they needed. Or if you go to your local VA medical center, go to the ER, tell them you need to talk to somebody. They'll get you the help that you need. There's people on staff there, people on call, but take that step. And that don't mean you're weak or anything else. Saying you need some help, go seek some counseling or whatever. It helps out. It helps out a lot. I'm going to tell you that right now. But
true. And like I say, if you remember last time, if you're not a vet, you can still call that 988 number, and they're going to get you in contact with the help you actually need. They will point you in the right direction.
Yeah, they will. They will. So that is all we have. We're about out of time. So y'all stay warm, stay safe, watch some football tomorrow, and we will be back on our in the midweek, probably around Wednesday or so.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, and we'll see you then. Have a good weekend.
All righty.